Good evening, everybody. I welcome you all for today's homeopathic learning program. Before starting today's program, my humble pranams to all my teachers and gurus. I hope many of you people are enjoying the lectures on Miasm. Now, it has become a slogan like somebody else is mentioned like a slogan like Sorikmia, all central theme. If you know the central theme of each miasm, you will be able to analyze each symptom, whether he is having any particular character. It is reflecting a soric miasm character or a psychotic miasm character or a syphilitic miasm character. You see, whether it is a mental, physical, or emotional characters. See, like soric miasm, lacking strength, needs for support. See, the central theme, and psychotic miasm, overstimulation, overgrowth, excessive and excessive. These are all the central theme of psychotic miasm. And syphilitic miasm, destruction, deformity, and hiding nature. These are all the central theme of syphilitic miasm. So the other day in one of my previous classes, I put a question just for curiosity's sake, whether you will be able to understand the central theme of the drug. That is why in my previous class, just a previous class, I could not answer, but I have given a little bit clue that you, before analyzing any character, you just look for its central theme, like lacking in nature, soric. Yeah. So by the time I did not get, by the time I have recorded the previous class, I did not get any message so far, because the previous lecture was not displayed rather. Okay. So now anyway, I have seen some messages. Most of you people are almost nearby that answer, because now you are experts, now you know the central theme of the soric miasm. See, that day I asked the question how the soric wife, the soric jealousy wife, behaves when her husband is engaged in sexual activity with other women. You have seen a psychotic wife, jealousy wife, she flirts before her husband only with somebody else. She flirts so that it get attention of her husband, because she is she wants, she has more sexual urge, See, or if she is she doesn't get the attention of her husband, she doesn't mind to participate with whomever she is likely to get contact in a sexual affair, So that is her nature. And syphilitic, well, she immediately she throws acid on her competitor. That is the kind of jealousy, and or slashes her face with blade. So if you come to a soric jealousy wife, she can neither do that flirting nor throws acid like a syphilitic. She is in between. She cannot do anything. That is her central theme, So she cannot do anything. Even she cannot. She may look support in such conditions, which some people they said yes, she may look support when she cannot do anything. But that again, seeking support is depends upon the husband's nature, You see, this is all interpretation later, So she can either flirt with others nor throw acid like a syphilitic woman on her competitor. She is just helpless and she may seek support from family and relatives. That again, it depends upon the situation, Right. So that is about more or less many people have given almost the same answer, and they have kept the central theme of soric miasm in mind. In the first class or second class or third class, I don't know about soric jealousy. I have so many about jealousy. I have given a detailed explanation, Right. Now, let us come to the core subject. In the previous class, we have, let me see a brief account of the previous class. I don't take much time, Now, I think this is the seventh class, and next class I will be able to complete the whole topic. Initially, we thought of maybe 6 classes. Me and my Guruji, we have discussed. Then he advised me, don't be in hurry. You can have as much as you can, something like that. He advised me. So very leisurely, I started explaining all these things because it is a very tough subject, and many people having baritacard nature or whatever it may be. See, they may not be able, because you may not be having the biological educational background, and for them, if I don't repeat, they may not understand. That is why you might have observed I have been repeating and repeating, especially in this lecture. Some people may be getting bored also. Anyway, now coming to the, let me give a brief account of the previous class, so that central theme of central theme of the syphilitic miasm we have started last. After completing the emotional aspects of psychotic miasm, we have started a central theme of syphilitic miasm. You know very well now central theme of syphilitic miasm, that is destruction and deformity and hiding. This is central theme of syphilitic miasm. That is why I have elaborately discussed about the syphilitic disease, how in the past the kings and how they have suffered, So that you can remember, this is all inculcating activities, Anyway, coming to physical characters of syphilitic miasm, cracks in the corners of mouth, mostly in the corners of mouth, cracks will be there, and blistering sores on the tongue and nose, blistering, that is destructive nature of this thing, ulcers, open destructive ulcers, blisters rather. Everything we add destructive. Fissures around anus and fistulas around anus, where they eat away the flesh there. Eat away means necrotic condition. You can call it necrotic condition. See, bloody tinged ear discharges, more painful in the night, because this is aggravation. Syphilitic condition gets aggravated in the night. That is also, wherever bloody tinged discharges are there, definitely syphilitic miasm, because blood means some blood vessel might have definitely ruptured. So that means a destroyed nature even. No. And then they have metabolic rate more, like psychotic people, they have metabolic rate more. That is why they have more heat in their body, because more assimilation. Metabolism means I have been frequently explaining. Say, more metabolism, more assimilation, more growth, more metabolism, more energy, more heat in the body. So their body is having heat, like psychotic people. And many deformities in these people, it is in mouth, especially in the teeth, serrated teeth, cracked teeth, and decayed teeth like caries, or missing teeth. So many, see, the other day I told you also, these are the people who often go to dentist. If anybody is going often to dentist, he is having the surfacing syphilitic miasm, which miasm dominates overall. If you see, that is a different thing, but okay. So he has whoever goes to dentist more, so he is having a syphilitic miasm, okay, frequently, whoever goes frequently. And then the tongue is also like a chopped meat, destructive tongue, nature of it looks. And then there's a growing pains. Growing children, they will be having pain in the night. To such people, if you give calcareous phos, it will be helpful, you see. that nature can be cured. And then azoospermia, lack of spams, destroyed nature. There is no any spam formation, destroyed nature. That is also this thing. All congenital defects like in heart, kidney, brain, see, agenesis of brain, the lacking of the proper structure of the cells of the brain, agenesis of brain. And some people, they may all congenital defects means birth defects generally. You see, these are all psychotic, syphilitic nature. Like missing kidney, some people, yesterday itself I got one. One kidney is not missing but is very small. And one kidney is as usual proper. You see. He is a diabetic patient. So he has a syphilitic miasma in overall. See, and later you can see some fingers missing. Generally, some fingers, more fingers also you will be having missing kidneys, missing fingers, or having more fingers, like 6 fingers, having small ears, small set of ears, cleft palate. Inside the palate, it will be split, and hair lips. You can have upper lip or most upper lip, cutting. You can see hair lip. So hemolytic anemia, you see, that is due to destruction of red blood cells. Anemia occurs, you see. And not only that, high blood pressure, diabetes, purpura, you see, the bleeding occurs under the skin because of the rupture of small blood vessels, producing the purpura colored patches. This is because of the destruction of platelet cells. No, platelet cells are there means that it will be clotting will be there if any injury will be there. If they are not there, the blood oozes out. It is also a very serious disease, purpura. And then locomotor ataxia, that is in no coordination of muscles. He will not be able to move, locomotor. That is a distraction again. See, when no coordination of muscles means his nervous system is not helping, you see. Any body movements, anything, our nervous system has to help. Then only we will be able to move. Multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis means the destruction of the upper layer of nerve cells, that is myelin sheath. Because of that, they will not be able to communicate messages from body to brain and from brain to body. See, that is like Parkinson's disease, where the brain cells will be damaged. Because by that, if brain cells are damaged, it will not be the production of dopamine neurotransmitter will be very less. This neurotransmitter, it helps for carrying impulses from one nerve to another nerve. When dopamine is not there, the message will not be carried. That is why this fellow is always dull. It's a syphilitic fellow. His nervous system is damaged because of syphilitic miasm. And then these people, they get a sudden heart attack. They have got a tendency of a sudden heart attack. Till now he is okay, but after exertion, doing some work, he suddenly collapses. Comparatively, their lifespan is less if you compare with a psoric person. While dying also, this fellow psoric person will on bedridden. Once he bedridden also, he prolongs his life like 90, 95 years. This is oxygenized constitution you can see in syphilitic miasm. So these are all about physical symptoms of syphilitic miasm, and many more are there, but we cannot. Okay, and then coming to mental symptoms. So you know very well his nervous system is completely damaged. That is why his mind is destroyed, dull, stupid. Hence, they don't comprehend or remember anything because of total destruction of memory or mental paralysis. The syphilitic person cannot retain the information even after reading. You see, even after reading also he cannot retain because it cannot penetrate. They may strike as reserved and silent. They are very close people. You see, if you are sitting before a syphilitic person, where syphilitic miasm is prominent, he just silently sits. You may think that he is listening, but he will not be able to listen also. See, he cannot comprehend. They may strike you as reserved and silent, but the fact is that they cannot express and information cannot penetrate into their brain. Whereas information can penetrate into the brain of psychotic people, though they have absent minded nature. See, and you see, Soric fellow is mentally weak. That is why he makes lists. A psychotic fellow is absent-mindedness because of many excessive thoughts. So many thoughts. How that is why absent-mindedness, and he just remembers of the recent ones, but not the past ones. No, he remembers the past ones, but not the recent ones because of excessive thoughts. And syphilitic fellow definitely he the complete brain is destroyed, so he cannot remember anything. It cannot any information cannot penetrate into his brain. The syphilitics lack a sense of duty and responsibility because of their impaired nature of memory. That memory is disturbed. That is why they don't see their duties properly and they don't do their responsibilities properly. Because not they want to do, but they forget. See, love of one's life is a natural instinct of man, but a syphilitic fellow lacks a self-confident self-awareness because of destruction of the memory. So he doesn't bother about him also. So that is why he develops lack of confidence and lack of self-awareness. People who lose their memory after concussion. The day I explained about a boy who got injured and who started having memory power, losing memory power, and he used not to touch his head. Anyway, no, I'm not going to explain it once more. I don't have much time. So, people who lose their memory after concussion or recover after brain hemorrhage are likely to be syphilitic. They are likely to have fixed ideas developing into delusions. Such people, they develop some delusions because of the destruction of the brain. Now, coming till this, we have now coming to the physiological characters, that is, emotional characters of syphilitic miasm. The syphilitic miasm shows in family history with depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, or indeed any mental disease, alcoholism, other self-destructive behaviors like drug addiction, suicides, successful or not. See, when you are taking history, medical history of a person, if he has of like depression, bipolar disorder, what is meant by depression? Depression is a mental disorder marked especially by sadness or inactivity in thinking or concentration. They cannot think much, they cannot concentrate much because of sadness, inactivity. That is depression. So bipolar disorder. What is meant by bipolar disorder? Say a disorder associated with episodes of mood swings, ranging from depression to high irritable. Whether he is very depressed or very highly irritable. So, because this is called bipolar disorder. And schizophrenia, a disease that affects a person's ability to think and behavior clearly. He cannot behave properly because of the destroyed nature of the central nervous system. So, and alcoholism, see, people who have got why they become addict, explain later. And not only that, drug addiction and suicidal tendency. You see, if any one of these things, depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, alcoholism, drug addiction, suicide history, medical history, his medical history, either side from mother side or father side. If he has, then you can say his syphilitic miasm is surfacing miasm rather, is prominent. Accordingly, you can give the drug, you know. The syphilitic patients crave alcohol. When this happens in a person whose psoric miasm is also active, the result is to fuel the cravings and weaken the willpower, producing an alcoholism or drug addiction. Syphilitics are certainly the ones most prone to addiction. If you find anybody is addicted to alcohol, definitely syphilitic miasm is there. See, they crave alcohol, these people. If along with the syphilitic miasm, psoric miasm is added, definitely psoric miasm will be there. Unless psoric miasm is there, syphilitic miasm will not be there. If he has psoric conditions also, miasmatic conditions more, he also craves so much, all edible, inedible, all things he craves, alcohol. Then it becomes a serious, he will become addicted. He the man who gets addicted very fast, either through drugs or alcohol, for any destructive activity rather. Okay. Syphilitics are always depressed but tend to isolate, keeping their problems to themselves and sulking over them, whereas the psoric person does the opposite for seeking support by airing his troubles freely. The syphilitic person is always depressed. On depression, I have got a very good case. I will describe that case at the end of this topic almost. Okay. The syphilitic are always depressed and they tend to isolate. They don't want to mix with people, They always like to be alone with their problems. So they don't disclose their problems to others, So like sulking over those problems, and they are very sad about their problems, but they don't disclose. Like a psoric person always he seeks support. You see, whenever trouble is there, he is expressive. He seeks support. Psoric fellow. The night oppresses a syphilitic person and makes him restless and anxious. Night aggravation, night crushes the syphilitic person. He broods over his problems at night. Feeling alone, hopeless about them, despair makes his nights a continuous torture because he cannot sleep. He cannot fall asleep. He cannot sleep. All his mental thoughts, physical this thing, all they are aggravated in the night. Syphilitic person. Whereas the psychotic person, he is very comfortable in the night. Okay? Like that you have to remember all these things, Though he is very anxious, he broods over his problems at night, feeling alone, continuous torture. Because of that, he cannot fall asleep. And now, coming to the next character, hate. This is a slogan kind of thing in his personality, syphilitic. The word hate tends to pop up in his conversation. Whenever he talks, I hate that fellow, I hate this fellow, I hate this government, I hate society, like that. He goes on and they go on telling like that. They hate government, they hate society, they hate religion and become anarchists and rebels against the authority. They become anarchists, rebels, they become rebels against the authority. And they become bombers and destroyers. For example, you take Causticum. Causticum fighter against justice will become such a bomber if syphilitic miasm is predominant at the time. You know very well, the other day I have been explaining about Causticum. What is Causticum? Kotreddy Garu explained about Causticum. What is Causticum? Causticum, he is idealist. He is basically idealist. He fights for justice of his group or his family. That is his nature. Most of psychotic and and soric nature mostly. But if such fellow has a syphilitic miasm, he doesn't mind to throw bombs. He will become bomber, casting. Besides hate, he tends to be malicious. He always not only hates, he harms others. He doesn't hesitate to harm others. They may have violent nightmares about chasing someone to kill him. See, of being killed themselves, of killing their children or husband, etc. See, they always have the dreams of that fellow is chasing somebody to kill him, or he is chased by somebody rather, or he is going to kill his children or husband. She is going to kill her husband. Such nightmares he gets syphilis. All destroyed thoughts. Uh, See, destroyed means syphilitic miasm. Of course, they are shocked by these dreams if they remember them. See, the dreams, many dreams we don't remember, but recurrently if they get shocked. Why I am getting these dreams? He also feels guilty, that we will discuss later. Of course, they are shocked by these dreams if they remember them. But the syphilitic miasm robs them of all conscious at night. All moral goodness he will be robbed of. See, syphilitic miasm, that is in night. See, he doesn't have any moral goodness. All thinking of crimes and all destroying kind of dreams. Okay. The mental and emotional symptoms of both syphilis and psychosis include marked self-condemnation and guilt feelings because they originally were spread by promiscuous sex. Say, they feel guilty at times, like I told you now. Say, they condemn themselves, they feel guilty. See, why I am getting these thoughts? Because why this they have participated in promiscuous sex and unnatural sex and immoral sex. That guilty feeling is there. Even after participating also, when they get developed disease, they have guilty feeling. The syphilitic is apt to be destructive to other people and to himself. For example, he could become an alcoholic and kill himself. See, they are destructive not only to others but to themselves also. They are very destructive. He also has fears that others will kill him. This fellow also has fears. Soric fellow also has fears. Soric fellow's fears, he fears for everything and everything. The fears come for every situation he fears because he doesn't have capacity, he is lacking strength. He fears for everything. But psychotic fellow he also has fears. What fear? His fears are mainly that his sins should not be known by others. See, his fear is in hiding his sins from public gaze. And this fellow also fears that others will kill him. There is a kind of delusion surrounded by enemies. These delusions you can see in Anacordium, Crotalus horridus, and Mercurius solubilis. Not only that, in fact, syphilitic people react to their fear by counter-attacking. I'm sorry. Before that, another delusion is there. Everyone is an enemy. And Maxall and Platinum also they have got this kind of delusion. Everyone is enemy. Maxall and Platinum. In fact, the syphilitic people react to their fear by counter-attacking. See, No doubt they are fearful, but they counterattack. That is, you kill me or I will kill you. Such mentality. They don't mind to get killed, and at the same time, that is all a destructive nature, And they, in such fear also, they will attack people. In fact, syphilitic people react to their fear by counter-attacking, not with paralysis like a psoric person. If it is a psoric person, he gets paralyzed. Syphilitic people will always have something with them to defend and kill. They always have some weapon with them, like to kill. Syphilitic persons, people will always have something with them to defend and kill. A knife, a gun, in extreme cases, it depends upon the case. A knife, a gun in extreme cases, and in more civilized cases, where more civilized syphilics are there, civilized cases, they carry a stick or a cane or an umbrella, even if it is sunny, also they will carry an umbrella, just to defend themselves. So I think you might have seen, of course it has nothing to do, that is destroyed nature only. Alo Vaikuntamlo, something Arjun picture is there. That fellow there, he stabs with the umbrella stick only. This thing, I don't remember that picture. Alo Vaikuntam, something like that. I don't remember. Okay. Syphilitic people will always have something with them to defend and kill: a knife, a gun in extreme cases, or in more civilized cases, they carry a stick, a cane, or an umbrella, even if it is sunny also. And they have a delusion. Say, someone tries with a cane to shoot, that is a merksal. They have a delusion like that. Syphilitic people have few fears. They have got very less fears, general, comparatively with other people. Compared to especially a psoric person. Syphilitic people have few fears. They would rather fight than take a flight. Instead of running away like a psoric fellow or a psychotic fellow in frightening situations, psoric fellow will get paralyzed. And any frightening situation is there, psychotic fellow runs as fast as he can run. And this fellow will not run, they will reverse, they will fight. But they do have a fear of knives. But at the same time, they do have a fear of knives. If they have a knife or a sharp-edged knife, they sometimes they develop a kind of urge, they may stab a nearby person, his children or his wife, or even he stab himself also. See, when they see a knife, they have an overwhelming urge to stab somebody or themselves. The syphilitics even might have a fear of killing their own children, which is sometimes seen in postpartum psychosis. Say, there is a psychosis of postpartum after delivery, after birth, giving birth. Because of this psychosis, this is very dangerous. They kill their children after birth. Syphilitics do not trust others because they do not trust themselves. They don't trust themselves. Then there is no question of trusting other people. Even if they wash their hands, they will wash them again. Even if they wash, they will wash them again. Why? Because they want to hide something, they don't want to leave fingerprints. See, after stabbing, some blood spots will be there that they don't want to show. So that is why they want to hide, they want to wash. They don't want to show their signs of crime. The syphilitic has a cold-blooded cruelty, a total lack of feelings when committing crime. He doesn't show any kind of, he just closed any kind of a feeling. He's just cool. and in his mind only that hatredness and destroyedness will be there. He doesn't appear whether he is going to kill like that. Cold-blooded cruelty, a total lack of feeling when committing a crime. They describe murder as if they have stepped on an insect. If you step on an insect, it is very easy to step on an insect. They see the murder is also like that only. It is as easy as stepping on insect, killing an insect. Stepping on insect, just you put your thumb, your toe on insect, it will be killed. That easy they feel, doing murder, doing crime. They describe murder as if they have stepped on an insect. They express none of excitement or thrill of psychotic person who commits a crime of passion. Psychotic person also commits a crime because if his sin is known by somebody else, he will kill. That is what is happening in the last class I told. They do sex, they do crime. If somebody is there by the time, they don't mind to kill them also. But this is all because of thrill and excitement he does. Psychotic fellow. But here, the syphilitic person, he will not express anything like thrill or excitement of a psychotic nature. They have nothing but the coldness and the hardness of a professional hitman. They are all professionals, You might have seen in so many pictures. Just they don't express any kind of this thing. Simply come and hit and stab and go away. Who is just doing his job? A professional people, it is a profession for them, you see. When it is a profession, they do casually, We can see the same emotionless expression in a syphilitic child. Suppose if a syphilitic child is there, we can see the same expression. Expression means he doesn't show any expression. When a psychotic child might wave a toy gun at you out of enjoyment and thrill, a soric child might swagger in pretending to be tough. A syphilitic child could come to you with a toy and gun and say, I am going to kill you. You don't see a smile on his face. Suppose 3 children are there. A psychotic child, a soric child, and a syphilitic child. All of them, they have guns. If psychotic fellow, he feels excitement. Yes, I have got gun. He will show, for the sake of excitement and fun, he will show his gun. That facial expression you can see there. A soric fellow will also show a gun with as if he has got a self-confidence, a protection. Yes, I have gun. I can protect myself or something like that. So, a soric child might swagger in pretending to be tough. Say, he will feel strength if he has gun. But a syphilitic child could come to you and say, I am going to kill you. He doesn't show any expression on his face. I am going to kill you. You don't see a smile on his face. See, whereas the soric child also can show smile. I have got gun. You see, I can protect. He thinks that he is brave because of gun. And psychotic fellow, he thinks a child, if he has a gun, for thrill. See, I can do that in pictures, they will do like this I can do, but thrill nature, he can show. But this fellow will not show even a smile, syphilitic fellow. So by seeing such characters, you can analyze he is a child of a syphilitic nature or a psychotic nature or soric nature. We can see the same emotional, yes. A syphilitic children will also show disrespect to the physician. They don't show respect to the physician. If he visits the physician, any physician, he puts his legs on table, breaks, damages and destroys all the things there. And sometimes they hide their face because they do not want to get caught, or they turn their chair around to avoid looking at the physician. Say, they behave in such a way that they are not seen by a physician, and otherwise they move their chair to avoid looking at the homeopath or physician. Say, they behave like this not out of excitement and sense of mischief like psychotic patients, but out of disrespect to authority. See, they do this sort of mischief not out of excitement or fun like a psychotic fellow. It is because of to show the disrespect to the authority who is present there, whether it's a physician or somebody else to the authority. He shows by such activities his disrespect, he hates. While a Soric teenager joins a gang because he wants to go along with the crowd, and a psychotic teenager wants the thrill of scandalizing grown ups, the syphilitic teenager will join a gang to satisfy his bloody, thirsty feelings. The Soric fellow joins a gang for protection or for having more self. You see, if he is in gang, nobody can do anything to me like that. A psychiatrist fellow will join a gang for excitement, doing for his excitement or thrill of doing crimes or whatever it is. For excitement nature only, for adventure, he will join. But this is syphilitic fellow, he joins a gang for crimes, bloodthirsting nature. That is, he doesn't doing crimes by killing people. For that he joins syphilitic fellow. Some syphilitic children smile sadistically while they pull legs of an insect. Some children, they smile sadistically when they are pulling the legs of insects. They don't feel kind, they don't feel sympathy. See, kick the dog or purposefully break something precious to their mother. See, they say they know very well it is very precious to my mother, but they purposefully they break. While a psychotic one does this kind of thing too for thrill, for amusement. A psychotic fellow will do for his thrill, kicking dog or pulling legs of insect or breaking the precious things to her mother. The psychotic fellow will do for the thrill or amusement. But the syphilitic one enjoys absolute power over absolute power he has, and feels absolutely no remorse. See, he wants to show his power of destroying nature, syphilitic fellow, not for amusement or thrill. And he doesn't feel no remorse, no regret, no guilt feeling. Syphilitics like to have sex in secret because of their shame. See, syphilitic nature, you know very well, destroyed condition they don't want to see. See, they always want to have sex in secret. They have unnatural sex feelings, preferring anal sex and harmful sex, and sadomasochism. Sadomasochism is a sexual behavior that involves getting of pleasure from causing painful sex to the partner or sadistic sexual activity rather. He causes, suppose the second partner, the other partner, if she or he is feeling pain, he enjoys that pain of other partner he enjoys during sexual activities. So that is called sadomasochism. Painful sex. He produces painful sex, sadistic sexual mentality. And he enjoys that kind of. You might have seen some pictures also. And incest. Incest is a incest. Incest is a sexual intercourse between people who are closely related, that they are not allowed to marry by law. They are very closely related. It is a sexual behavior, a sexual intercourse between people who are closely related, like brother and sister, mother and son, and father and daughter. To spell itself is some people, it is very unfortunate, this thing to spell itself is some people feel guilty, no, painful, and all other perversions, unfortunately, here we hear about so many perversions, like these things we hear about. Incest is a syphilitic, for example, because it is a perverse nature, is a sadistic mentality, destroying nature. This is all syphilitic nature, incest. It is kept hidden. Who talks about this thing? It is always kept hidden, and it is likely to lead to birth defects. See, if you suppose some birth is there because of that relationship, so they will have definitely syphilitic nature. They will have birth defects, like missing kidney or heart defects, brain defects. All congenital defects will be there. One part is syphilitic miasm, predominantly there in both of them, in either one of them or both of them. And the second part is because of a close relationship, so they may develop a birth defects. Homopaths can only understand this and cure such perverts because they can see the seeds of a syphilitic miasm. See? Here, who will be able to help? Nobody will be able to help any medicine of any other system. Only homeopathy, classical homeopathy, who can see the seeds of a syphilitic miasm, even if they don't disclose by their physical appearance, by their other characters, they will be able to smell, yes, this fellow is having a prominent syphilitic miasm in him. So who will tell about the such relationship? Nobody tells. But some in Western countries they tell when they go to doctor. That I am going to explain about that this thing, one case. So only homeopathy can solve this problem, say, to cure the syphilitic condition of miasm. Degenerates, having low moral standards, criminals, criminally insane, invariably have a syphilitic or a psychotic background. All these degenerates and criminals, they have got a psychotic background or syphilitic background. As in my previous class, very well we have explained, we have discussed about this thing, how our society is predominantly getting spoiled by psychotic miasm. If we could only treat the children showing syphilitic tendencies homeopathically, if we are able to cure the syphilitic children, who are showing the syphilitic tendencies before they become criminals, and we can save so much suffering from our society, and we could empty the asylums and prisons in one generation. You see, all if we are able, that is why I said at each prison we should keep a homeopath. We should have a classical homeopath, so that he can cure, he can smell, he can sense what kind of miasm is there in him. So if we do homeopathically, if we cure, we can save our society, and we can save most of the children in our society from becoming criminals, and we can empty all the prisons in one generation itself. Syphilitics also hurt themselves. They hurt also hurt themselves, When the miasm is latent, they will do body piercing. When the miasm is latent, they will do body piercing. See. Latent means slight symptoms. Dormant means no symptoms seen. We have explained the first class itself. When the miasm is latent, they will do body piercing, preferably a painful and hidden places like penis. They will do pierce with some instrument of penis or body piercing like that. They will react to a heartbreak by burning themselves with a cigarette. Sometimes they commit suicide because of their loved one who has taken someone else. Whereas the psoric person will look for support after heartbreak, and the psychotic person will look for another stimulus, distraction like fun and excitement. What if, first of all, they will react to a heartbreak by burning themselves with a cigarette. What is meant by heartbreak? We feel a heartbreak broken when we love someone or something we love or wanted very much, like a romantic relationship, like a close friendship, like a family member, like a pet or a job or opportunity, which was very important. If we lose any kind of these things, we have a heartbreak, our heart gets broken. And this heartbreak can cause a large amount of stress, In such conditions, in heartbroken conditions, in such conditions, they burn their body with cigarette. And they commit suicide if they know that his lover is taken by somebody else. He will commit suicide. Whereas in such heartbroken conditions, the psoric fellow will look for what do you call for support. Where from I get support for support, mental and emotional support he needs. But this psychotic fellow, he doesn't mind. You see, if it is not there, somebody else will be there. You see, distraction for fun's sake or for fun, still take. In such conditions, the psychotic person will look for a distraction, fun, and excitement in such heartbroken cases. And psoric fellow will look for support. Okay? And then here there is a complex, a syphilitic tendency disease. This is Oedipus complex, Oedipus, Oedipus complex. Oedipus complex means it is a complex of some complex of emotions aroused in a young child. It is a complex of emotions, Oedipus, Oedipus, Oedipus complex. It is a complex of emotions aroused in a child by an unconscious sexual desire for the parent of opposite. See, it is a child, even a less than 10 years old child. They get the unconscious sexual desire for the opposite of their parent, opposite of parent sex. Suppose male child looks for the male child looks for he develops sexual desire for his mother, and that is called Oedipus complex. If a female child girl develops a sexual desire, unconscious sexual desire, if it develops, that is called Electra complex. If female child girl develops a sexual desire for her father, it is called Electra complex. Here is a case the author Shepard described. One case is there, a 10-year-old boy with Oedipus complex who always said to his mother, "Mom, let us get married. I will kill dad, and we will be happily will live happily forever. He used to attack his father and younger sister to such an extent they had to lock him in garage. At one point, the desperate parents called the homeopath for help. The child never looked straight at the homeopath. He was trying to hide his face with cold blooded eyes. At last, homeopathy only saved this unfortunate child, otherwise, he could have become another criminal. Maybe they, but this is also a syphilitic kind of nature. Oedipus complex. That I am going to give you in notes. Certain things, not all. Okay, this is a syphilitic nature. If it happens in a child girl, for his father, sexual desire, unconscious sexual desire, it is called electra complex. Syphilitic and psychotic teenagers will dress to shock people, while psychotic does it for thrill. A syphilitic does to hurt his parents. See, the syphilitic and psychotic teenagers will dress to shock people, while psychotic does it for thrill. The syphilitic does it to hurt his parents. His parents' feelings rather. He loves to wear t-shirts and hats with skulls and crossbones of pictures or pictures of well-known killers to show disrespect to the rest of the world. He always loves to wear t-shirts and hats with skulls or crossbones or pictures of well-known killers to show disrespect to the rest of the world. That is a destroyed nature of kind of mind. So, if his parents ask him to dress up for a wedding, he will wear outrageous and or offensive clothes. He doesn't listen. He says, Nana, you wear a very decent dress, we are going to for a wedding. He says yes, but all of a sudden he will appear with outrageous and offensive clothes. The syphilitic teenagers love to wear black dresses which reveals his tendency to hide. They always prefer to do black dresses, black to wear, so which reveals their tendency to hide. Syphilitic mother is a terror for her children. Yeah, she rubs and rubs, washes and washes. In spite of doing that also, she feels that still dirt is there. She is a terror for her children. Yeah, she rubs and washes them several times. Still she thinks that there are dirty fellow. There is dirtiness is there. The syphilitic fellow washes his hands repeatedly so as not to leave the prints of his fingers, to hide his crime. A psychotic fellow washes his hands repeatedly to hide his sins. Both of them wash. This fellow wants to, psychotic fellow washes to hide his sins. The syphilitic fellow washes his fingers and there, so that there is no any stain of on his fingers after doing crime. See, he doesn't want to show any signs of the crime. Now here, washing also, that I have a case. I'll tell one case. Repeatedly washing case. You know, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. You might have seen in your known circles obsessive compulsive disorder. It is an anxious disorder, uncontrollable urges like compulsive locking, compulsive switching, compulsive checking of locks or switches, or compulsive washing of hands, repeatedly washing of hands. It is all very not original functioning, deviation from original functioning, normal daily functions. It is unreasonable. We think it is very unreasonable. Repeatedly, even if it is not necessary, also they go on washing. You might have seen some people. This is called uncontrollable urge to wash or to check clocks, to wash hands repeatedly. See, there was a case when I was about to shift to Guntur to establish our HSRF in Guntur just 2 or 3 months before. I got a case in Bangalore itself, HSRF. And that lady was around 35 years old. She was brought by our active volunteer Sandhya, Miss Sandhya. She has this problem, OCD problem. And when I took her case, she told she washes repeatedly hands, and she washes everything, even cells also she washes. She knows that a cell gets spoiled. Even cells also she washes. Repeatedly washing buttons, repeatedly washing hands. So this kind of nature is there. That is OCD already. According to allopathy, that is called OCD, obsessive compulsive disease. And according to homeopathy, we see only the symptoms and modalities. So she told me one instant to show how severe the OCD is. See, one day her child, that neighbor's house and her house was having a big compound, and her child is playing with other children, a cricket, like with a rubber ball. And then when somebody hit, that rubber ball has gone and it fell in the open latrine of neighbors. Then they stopped playing. Then grandfather, his child's grandfather, is sitting there. Why you have stopped playing? That ball is fallen in this thing, latrine. And then grandfather, he went there and he picked up from latrine that, and he washed with thoroughly with tap water, and then he gave them for playing. Then when they have started playing, this lady saw the whole incident. So immediately she rushed into the bedroom and locked, and she started committing suicide. And father-in-law came to know, he knows that she is having this kind of disease. Immediately with the help of neighbors, they have broken the door and they saved her. This is the incident she told me. That is a pathetic condition, After taking her case, she was looking like Silesia, I think, at that time. And if I remember correct, yes, Silesia. I gave Silesia. Of course, those days, after giving Silesia 30 for 1 month, actually I wanted to open with syphilinum, but I did not have that knowledge, that time. Miasms, about miasms. Even then, I would have not opened with syphilinum, even if I have knowledge also. First of all, antisoric we have to open, and then syphilinum. Then I gave Silesia 30 for 1 month or so. And then second month also, when she came for the second consultancy, I was there. I have observed a little bit some 20% of frequency of washing hands reduced, 25%. And Satyana sir gave her next time syphilinum, and then syphilinum 200 once in 4 days or for 1 month or so, like that he gave. And then after third month also, when she came, almost I was not there. By that time I was not there. Then when I was talking to Sandhya, she said, sir, she almost some 50% she got improved. Later I don't know what happened. See, for such disease also, woman. That is what I want to say. That is why it is not a completed case. I have not seen, but such a disease also can be cured by homeopathy only. By if you know the miasm which is prevailing in your nature, no. But I have got here, two cases I have got. One case they did not turn up after, but one case I have got here. She complained. She is a 40 years old lady. She complained repeated washing nature and buttons, utensils and hands. Very repeatedly she goes on washing, like that. But while taking case, I have got a very good clue. She said, sir, if I see any kinds of pins on the table or anywhere, you take those pins. You don't keep here. You take away from those pins from me, like that. Family members she used to instruct. She is afraid of pins. That is a peculiar nature of Silesia. But she is not a completely Silesia person. She is a Barita also is there. So we have given Barita silicata. And the next consult, only Barita silicata only I gave. Next consultation, I did not see any difference. No difference at all. After that, I have opened the case with Syphilinum 1M. Syphilinum 1M I gave. And then Barita silicata, once in a week or once in 4 days or 5 days, I don't remember exactly. I gave 200 after giving Syphilinum. Next time almost she got some 30% reduced this washing frequency and intensity of that washing reduced. So like that I even Barita silicata 1M also I gave, and even Silesia 10M also I gave. So almost some around 90% she got relief. And later this COVID has come and people, they have not come back. So this kind of this thing also one can cure. Even the stubborn disease like OCD can also be cured in homeopathy, provided we get the modalities and the symptoms and miasmatic nature. Okay. So now I would like to describe a case, a very interesting case. This is not my case. This is a author's case, author Shepard, from where I got most of the information about miasms. He described one case that is very interesting. Say, there was a lady who is by profession obstetrician gynecologist. Obstetrician and gynecologist by profession wise. Her main symptom is depression. That is why I said that depression, always sad, no concentration in thinking and no activity, very much depressed. Only symptom is there is no any physical symptom at all. And when she came to homeopath, he asked her her mental history. She told about her mental history. Both sides of the family has a medical history of alcoholism, depression, drug addiction, incest, birth defects, even suicides. See? Not drug addiction is not there. That is alcoholism, depression, incest, and birth defects, and even suicides. Both sides of her father's side and her mother's side, she has got medical history of that. Okay, very predominant syphilitic nature. And then job wise, she likes to do hysterectomy, removing of uterus. Hysterectomy is very well. She enjoys doing. Generally, in India, I don't want to comment on anybody, but now it has become a common affair. You see, even if it is not necessary also, even in public also thinking like that only, See, they say fibroid is there. Now it may not cause cancer, but in future it may cause cancer. So the people will be afraid, and it is better to get removed. And they come to know many of such instances in neighbors. So they go. It has become a common affair, you see, hysterectomy. If I get 10 women after of say age of 40 years or 45 years, I can see out of 10, 8 people got a hysterectomy done. So in India, whether it's necessary or not necessary, that it is being done. Okay. I don't blame any gynecologist or doctors because it is their profession. They have whatever they have learned, they are doing. You see, we should say thanks to them. Okay. Anyway, the next you see, medical history he has like that, and she does this. Generally, in Western countries, they avoid hysterectomy unless it is necessary. But she encourages the hysterectomy. This lady, about which we are discussing now, and she is having a spiritual high kind of nature when doing the delivering stillbirths. Generally, nobody likes, no doctor likes to deliver stillbirths, but she feels highly spiritual in doing delivering of stillbirths. And when she was a child, she used to sit along with his brother behind sofa, and she used to see all birth defects of in the medical textbook of his father. That was it was her hobby. And then when she came to doctor, she was doodling. Doodling means like scribbling some lines of no lines of some irrelated rather lines, scribbling, doodling, that is. And she repeatedly wears gloves. See, generally, after one case, when they are going to for second case, they wear. But in the same case, some 5 to 6 times she wears. After taking scalpel, she wears. And then after taking scissors, she wears. Like that, 4 or 5 times she used to wear gloves during operation. And she used to repeatedly washing her hands. And then after doing all these things, she also told that when I was young, my elder brother and myself, we used to sleep in the same bed. Even after becoming adults also, we used to sleep in this same bed. We have developed a kind of incest, sexual intercourse in between them. That also she told. And then she developed a site of hatedness to her sister-in-law when her elder brother got married. She doesn't want to kill her, but she feels if she is not there, it is very good, like that. And when they are sitting in car, she used to drive very fast. These are all syphilitic nature, she wrote. And Homopath, then after listening all the case, taking all the case, he wanted to open actually with syphilinum. But later he thought, why should not I open Baritacarb nature? She worked very hard, and she was looking, sitting behind the sofa chair and seeing. This is a character he believed, I think. Then he thought, no. And then he wanted to give Aramate. That character is also not there. But then ultimately he gave Lachesis LM1. What made Lachesis 1M to give? Because she used to have a delusion, a godlike animal creature inside me looking out through my eyes, like that she expressed, a godlike animal creature inside me looking out through my eyes. That delusion she expressed, and the doctor also observed her religious nature, Lex's religious nature. He observed, and then LM1 potency he gave. After 1 week of LM giving LM1 potency, she he stopped completely the hand washing, doodling, and wearing so many times gloves. So she stopped immediately. And then she developed a positive quality of arranging internal decoration of our house. And then before having a second this thing, even with one dose, she developed a sort of a scaly patch over her lip. That is according to Herring's principle. See, lip patch means that is ulcer. In syphilitic, first kind of symptom is ulcer. She developed, and later 7 times he gave, I think, LM1 potency. After that, she completely became all right. See how beautiful this case expressed. But we don't get such a, they don't explain all these things. Who will explain? I have done this, I have done that. Who will explain? But in spite of that, my Guruji, he is expert in extracting the symptoms, by scolding them or by whatever it may be. He has his own methods, I say. That is why, but there I am very weak in such kinds, He is expert in extracting the symptoms, That should be there. Anyway, now coming to last chapter of this modalities, syphilitic miasm modalities. Aggravation from sunset to sunshine, sunrise. From sunset to sunrise means daytime, nighttime aggravation we have seen. From natural discharges such as urine and menses and sweat, and from extremes of, natural discharges also she doesn't feel comfortable, aggravates, like urine, menses, sweat, extremes of the temperature, at seaside, from sea voyages, from thunderstorms, movement, during summer, from warmth, and from warmth of bed. These are all aggravated conditions. So, ameliorated conditions from sunrise to sunset, that is morning. In lukewarm climate, they are very sensitive to temperature, not too hot, that is why lukewarm climate. During winter, they are comfortable. From cold and from abnormal discharges such as leukorrhea and catarrh discharges and discharges of pus when old ulcers abnormal discharges, not pathological discharge. Yeah. Abnormal discharges like leukorrhea, it is a kind of destructive nature, and catarrh discharges and discharge of offensive nature, and the discharges which are of destroyed conditions, they are comfortable. When old ulcers break open, they are comfortable. So this is about syphilitic miasm. It's a central theme, it's a physical characters, it's a mental characters, and emotional characters, and then modalities. I am going to give very good notes, you see, maybe after a few days we'll check and I will discuss with my Guruji. I am going to give very good notes. Now, the next chapter is the comparative keynotes of Hahnemann's original 3 miasms. Comparative. How can we compare keynotes, only keynotes, not everything, only keynotes. The first headings, because I cannot display, first heading is miasm, second heading is soric miasm, third heading is psychotic miasm, fourth heading is syphilitic miasm. Like that, horizontally headings are there. And then under miasm, each character we will describe. This soric miasm is also called sensitizing miasm. And the psychotic miasm is also called miasm of excess and growth. Syphilitic miasm is also called destructive miasm. Then the miasm causes. What is the cause? Where from it has come? Now you will become experts. If it is a physical class, I would have asked you people only. See, where from it cause? Soric miasm, what is the cause? Psychotic miasm, what is the cause? And syphilitic miasm, what is the cause of the miasm? Why this miasm has come? Now, first soric miasm. Because of evil thinking. If evil thinking is not there, this miasm will not come, Because of evil thinking, those days, so we had first class or second class, so we have collaboratively discussed. Because of evil thinking, his sora appeared, unnatural thinking, so element of doing, thinking of element of doing, that is sora appeared. And sora has come from outside, from mental sora, that mental itching has reflected on his body. When this sora is suppressed, again it has gone inside. It caused a susceptible disease, susceptible soric miasm, susceptible disease condition. So that is called soric miasm. No, the cause is basically evil thinking. If evil thinking is not there, it is not there. No. And then what is the cause of psychotic miasm? Evil doing. Evil doing, you see. If evil thinking is there, soric miasm. If psychotic miasm, evil doing. Even psychotic, syphilitic miasm, evil doing. Both of them evil doing, bad doing. Evil doing, bad doing. So participating in unnatural sex and with infected persons, that is evil doing. No? Because of that only the miasm has created, was created. So origin, what is the origin? Say, actually the cause is, basically cause is that, but what is the origin? Because of untreated nature or suppressive nature. See, if they treat with homeopathy drugs, it will be treated completely. If they don't treat with any kind of this thing, or if they suppress by allopathy nature, the miasm will originate. By suppression only, the miasm has gone inside, the miasmic nature gone inside, and there it became a disease susceptibility, soric susceptibility. Even psychotic miasm also suppression of gonorrhea. Even syphilitic miasm also suppression of syphilis. You see, in soric miasm, by suppression of sora, it originated, the miasm originated. In psychotic miasm, by suppression of gonorrhea, the miasm originated. In syphilitic miasm, by suppression of syphilis, it is originated. Syphilitic miasm is originated. And then, what is the course? Third point is, what is the course? How the miasm runs its course? Centrifugal, from mind to outside body, like soric miasm. That is called centrifugal, from mind to body to outside, mind to outside of the body. Psychotic miasm, centripetal, from outside to inside. It occurs outside, then it will come inside. Even this also, syphilitic miasm also, it occurs outside, ulcers and all these things. When we suppress, it will go inside. Even if we don't suppress also, it will go inside. Okay? By suppressing or not suppressing, it will go. The course of the miasm is inside. Okay? Mostly by suppressing. Then central theme, our slogan. Lacking of strength, soric miasm. What is the central theme? Lacking of strength and need for support. Because he lacks strength, he needs support. This reflects in every mental and every physical and every emotional characters. All hypos, you can say otherwise, all hypos are mainly soric. All hypos are mainly soric. And then psychotic miasm. Overstimulation and excessive growth. That is the central theme of the miasm. Overstimulation, mental wise, emotional wise, overstimulation or excessive growth, physical excessive growth, emotional excessive growth. All hypers are psychotic. hyposoric, hypers are psychotic. Then coming to the syphilitic miasm, distraction, deformity, and hiding. These are all showing us the central theme of syphilitic miasm. Distraction, because in disease, syphilitic disease, the whole nervous system is destroyed. Because of that, whole body is destroyed. Everything is destroyed. Because of that, deformity will be there. When distraction is there, deformity will automatically follows. But here, he doesn't want to show this destructive nature. He wants always to hiding mentality. Of course, he also hides. Psychotic fellow also hides, but he hides his sins. But the syphilitic fellow hides his destructive nature. Here, all dyes are syphilitic. All hypers are soric. All hypers are psychotic. All dyes are dyses. Dyes are syphilitic. And what is the basic attitude this fellow, soric fellow? I cannot have, because of lack of strength, I cannot do, I cannot be. Okay, like that is attitude. What is the attitude of, because of the central theme, he says, I cannot have much, I cannot do much, I cannot be much. And according to the psychotic miasm, what is the attitude? I must have, I must do, I must be. Everything excess. I must have everything excess. I must do everything excess. I must be everything excess. And the same attitude, if you see the attitude in syphilitic miasm, I must attack before I get destroyed. I know I am going to destroy, but before that I want to attack, I want to destroy. That is his attitude. Then key idea, because key idea, again all three miasms. What is the key idea? The soric fellow, because of his lacking strength, he struggles in life. And the psychotic fellow, he does more and more in life. He wants more and more in life. And the syphilitic fellow, he gets degenerates. Old people, what they have, and the destructive mentality, he wants less and less. He doesn't want more. Less and slowly he physically also degeneration condition, mentally also degeneration condition, and emotional also degeneration condition. So almost less and less in life it happens. Affections at the tissue level. Whole economy. You see, in soric miasm, whole economy, whole body, like functional disorders like digestion or sleeplessness, these are all functional disorders. No structural disorders at tissue level. Okay, hardly some nervous system gets, or ectodermal layer will get affected. And if you come to affections at the tissue level, to psychotic, soft tissues of internal organs, internal organs, pelvic and sexual organs, by proliferation of cells. Proliferation means growth of cells. Growth occurs. That is why in soft tissues, any tissue, growth occurs by proliferation of cells. That is why it is called a psychotic nature. And here in syphilitic, it affects bones by degeneration and necrosis of tissues. The tissue will be eaten away. Daily it gets spoiled. So, affections at the tissue level, in a soric miasm, it is a whole economy like functional disorders. But in psychotic miasm, soft tissues will be affected by proliferation, by growth. And syphilitic miasm, bones will be affected by degeneration and necrosis of tissue, destroying the nature of the tissue occurs. And then here a mental keynote just I added, mental and emotional. Here this fellow, soric fellow, as we have discussed, he has a weak memory. He has weak memory. That is why he makes lists. And psychotic fellow, he is absent-mindedness due to the excessive thoughts, so many excessive thoughts. So that is why he doesn't remember the recent happenings, but he remembers the past happenings, And here, syphilitic miasm, forgetfulness due to mental paralysis. His whole nervous system, mind, mental brain is spoiled. So that is why he forgets completely. Here, weak memory in Soric, absent-mindedness in psychotic, and forgetfulness in syphilitic. And these people, emotional keynotes, yes, Soric people are apprehensive and fearful. Apprehensive and fearful. Psychotic fellows are suspicious and jealous. And syphilitic fellows are dull and idiotic. Idiotic. Because of dull nature, they become idiotic. And another emotional character, inhibitory of lacking ability. Because of lacking ability, they are inhibited. They don't show. They are very inhibitive, Soric fellow. But this fellow, he hides, psychotic fellow, hides a sense of excessive nature. He always hides a sense of, he knows that he has done all sins. He doesn't want to know that other people know. He hides a sense of excessive nature. Syphilitic fellow, hiding destructive nature. He always hides his destructive nature. Period of aggravation. Period of aggravation. See, 10 a.m. to evening, generally in Soric nature, it gets aggravated, period of aggravation. Worsens at 12 noon. 12 noon. And then psychotic, 2 a.m. to 8 p.m. It aggravates, the period of aggravation. 2 a.m. to 8 p.m. 8 p.m. After 8 p.m. again he will be normal, he is comfortable. And the syphilitic fellow, 7 to 8 p.m. to 2 to 3 a.m. night, mostly in night, he gets aggravated. And then stages of life. In our life we have got 3 stages, like young and youth, and middle age, and old age, young and youth. So in young and youth you can see Soric miasm, where you have, due to lack of strength, you have to struggle for everything and support. You can see every one of us has a period of youth and adolescence, where there is a struggle with growing up, and there is a struggle with authority like parents, and emotional problems, and physical symptoms like acne around our face at puberty. All these reflect the continuous struggle of Sora nature. Say, up to 30 years age, we can see all Soric miasm in anybody. And then in middle age, the person has learned to accept the fact that he cannot even all struggle like a Soric fellow. You see, Soric fellow, he continuously struggles, but he cannot do, he compromises. So he starts learning concealing his sins, and he starts doing so much excess, earning and doing on every front, everything excess will be there, because he wants to settle in life, and he wants to have so much money, and he wants to have children, and so much, everything excess he does. And in the same period he does conceal his sins also. So that is a middle age is equal to psychotic miasm. We can display our middle age we can display psychotic miasm in our middle age. We can display our Soric miasm in when we are young, almost up to 30 years. 30 to 60 years psychotic miasm, you can see. And then coming to the last one, he says old age. Old age, he realizes that he is in a desperate and depressing situation. everyone around him dying from cancer, heart attack, stroke. So he also thinks, when I don't know, now everything has gone. He say, now I have become old, I don't know when I die. He sees destruction everywhere, everywhere. In his body, surrounding his place also. You see, all his colleagues are dying, so that is a distraction, dying by something. And his body is also become destroyed and degenerated day by day. Yeah. His body, he broods over death. This is a psychotic, syphilitic condition, you know. So, age-wise, we can see divide the stages of life. See, youth and adolescence, you can see the displaying of, you can see the soric miasm. And in the middle age, you can see the psychotic miasm. In old age, you can see a syphilitic miasm. And then, I don't know now time is over. Almost I have taken 5 minutes extra, I think. Anyway, now I will be able to complete definitely in the next class, final class. Aversions and desires that I have not, only in soric miasm only I have given. In other miasms I have not given. That I will give in next class. And personality in brief also I will give in the next class. And later weighted assessment of miasms weightage of. See, in each medicine, how do you assess whether psychotic miasm is there, or syphilitic miasm is there, or soric miasm is there? Which is predominant? Which is surfacing miasm? How you assess that I will explain. And then clinically, how we use how we prescribe, that also, but we will discuss in the next class. So I have already taken so much time. Thank you very much for your kind patience in listening. Good night to all of you.